Hi, I'm Muhammed Ahmad Hamdan and you're watching Nightline, and here are the top stories. Government will not bow to pressure in its fight against corruption. And leadership exodus in Perikatan Nasional as Muhyiddin's resignation triggers string of exits. Good morning. The Madani government will not bow to any form of pressure or intimidation, be it from friend or foe, in its fight against corruption. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the government will continue to act firmly in the interests of the nation, ensuring that any funds recovered are channeled back to benefit the people.
The Prime Minister said this after an audience with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim at Istana Pasir Pelangi in Johor Bahru, where among the key issues raised were the government's decisive efforts to combat corruption at the highest levels.
Kita akan tegas menghadapi masalah ini, sama ada kawan atau lawan. Beberapa tindakan telah diambil yang melibatkan juga anggota pentadbiran, termasuk di pejabat saya, rakan-rakan dari parti komponen dalam perpaduan, pembangkang, pimpinan utama Angkatan Tentera dan penjawat awam.
He stressed that the fight against graft remains a central pillar of the administration, aimed at dismantling entrenched practices that have long undermined good governance. In recent months, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has exposed several high-profile cases involving abuse of power and misappropriation, including corruption linked to procurement projects worth millions of ringgit.
Perikatan Nasional is facing its most serious internal crisis since its formation 5 years ago, following the resignation of Bersatu President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as chairman of the opposition coalition, with his departure taking effect on January 1st. Several other Bersatu leaders have also relinquished their positions within PN, including Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali, amid an escalating dispute between PAS and Bersatu that began in Perlis and has now spilled over to the national level.
Muhyiddin confirmed his resignation as PN chairman in a brief statement released on Tuesday. While no reason was given, the move is widely believed to be linked to the ongoing political impasse in Perlis. Meanwhile, Azmin has stepped down as PN Secretary General and as the coalition Selangor chairman. In Perak, Bersatu Vice President Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumu has resigned as PN State Chairman. Both he and Azmin said the decision was appropriate as their appointments were made by Muhyiddin during his tenure as coalition chairman. At the same time, several other Bersatu leaders have also stepped down from their posts in Johor, Negeri Sembilan and Selangor. In Perlis, PAS has made it clear that none of its assemblymen will accept any executive council posts in the state government under the new Menteri Besar, Abu Bakar Hamzah from Bersatu. In a statement, PAS Secretary General Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan said PAS representatives currently holding executive council posts will also be resigning in solidarity with former Menteri Besar Muhammad Shukri Ramli, the Sanglang assemblyman from PAS who stepped down earlier. The simmering turmoil within PN seemingly intensified after 5 Bersatu assemblymen, including Abu Bakar himself, signed statutory declarations withdrawing their support for Shukri. 3 PAS assemblymen who took similar action were expelled from the party, with their seats having since been declared vacant, paving the way for by-elections. However, several PAS leaders have expressed disappointment that no action has been taken against the 5 Bersatu assemblymen involved, further straining relations within the opposition alliance.
Meanwhile, Perlis Menteri Besar Abu Bakar Hamzah said he was left with little choice but to appoint all Bersatu assemblymen to the State Executive Council, following PAS's decision to opt out of the EXCO lineup. Abu Bakar said the move was necessary to ensure continuity in governance and to serve the people of Perlis.
Jadi tidak ada salah dan tidak ada kurang lah. Terpaksa kita memberi ruang
kepada mereka untuk memberi perkhidmatan kepada rakyat Perlis dalam membangunkan negeri, meneruskan legasi Perikatan Nasional tanpa diduduki ataupun bersama dengan PAS yang duduk dalam barisan Kabinet Kerajaan Negeri Perlis.
He added that the number of Exco portfolios to be reshuffled and filled may not be reduced. Besides Abu Bakar, who is also the Kuala Perlis Assemblyman, Perlis Bersatu has 4 other state representatives: Izizam Ibrahim of Titi Tinggi, Datin Marzita Mansur of Sena, Megat Hashirat Hassan of Pau, and one Zikri Afda Isha of Tambun Tulang.
Now, Selangor PAS Youth has signalled that it may reassess its political cooperation with Bersatu if issues arising from the Perlis crisis are not addressed responsibly. Its chief, Muhammad Sukri Omar, said continued avoidance or lack of accountability by Bersatu would undermine trust, discipline and the mandate entrusted to the coalition by voters.
Realiti yang banyak berlaku di kawasan Bersatu hanya bergantung kepada kekuatan PAS untuk kelangsungan politik mereka. Tuntutan kerusi dan pengaruh seringkali tidak seimbang dengan sumbangan sebenar. Ini bercanggah dengan semangat keadilan dan keikhlasan dalam konsep tahaluf siasi.
Sukri also stressed that ongoing investigations involving Bersatu's top leadership have had a spillover effect, impacting the credibility and stability of the PN coalition as a whole. Commenting on the deepening rift between PAS and Bersatu, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said he is grateful for the strong sense of cooperation and sincerity within the unity government. He said the current administration remains cohesive with no elements of internal sabotage or betrayal, unlike what is unfolding among other political groupings.
Saya syukur Alhamdulillah kerana muafakat Kerajaan Perpaduan Madani itu lebih mantap, lebih ikhlas, dan tidak ada usaha sabotaj, khianat seperti yang berlaku di kalangan rakan-rakan lain.
Anwar was responding to a question on the ongoing issues within PN, which have culminated in Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin's resignation as the coalition's chairman. Meanwhile, political analyst Siva Murugan Pandian said the resignations show a lack of confidence in Bersatu's ability to shape PN's direction moving forward.
We're also looking at how this gives a signal, a shift towards a PAS-dominated coalition, which may bring organizational clarity but reduces the sense of collective leadership. As a result, I strongly believe that Perikatan Nasional may appear more unified ideologically, but politically, we're looking at narrower and less flexible.
An additional allocation of 4 billion ringgit for tax refund payments has been fully credited from December 9th to 24th. The Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, said the refunds involved more than 110,000 cases.
In a statement on Tuesday, the LHDN said it had processed 19 billion ringgit in tax refunds involving over 3.63 million cases from January 1st to December 24th. The move is in line with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's announcement that the government had increased the allocation for tax refunds to 4 billion ringgit to expedite the repayment of outstanding tax refunds to taxpayers. Of the total, 1 billion ringgit was used to clear tax refund arrears of more than 3 years old, while the remaining 3 billion ringgit was credited to taxpayers owed refunds from between 2 and 3 years ago. Tax refunds prioritize small and medium-sized enterprises, with taxpayers advised to keep their bank account details updated in the LHDN system.
2025 was the year Malaysia stepped into a bigger role, steadying its economy, strengthening regional leadership and navigating global uncertainty without losing momentum. In this Nightline year-end analysis, Nurin Razmin looks at the key economic moments that shaped Malaysia this year.
Now, Malaysia started 2025 with the ringgit under pressure. global markets were unsettled by renewed U.S. tariff measures and prolonged high interest rates, which kept capital flowing into U.S. assets and weighed on emerging market currencies. According to M-Bank analyst Nick A. Muharis, these two factors shaped the ringgit's performance in the first half of the year.
For Trump tariffs, because it was introduced in the first half of the year, that coincided with the ringgit being underperforming. But when we went on to the second half of the year, we figured that the impact may not be as bad as feared. And with that as well, a lot of countries, including Malaysia, has struck trade deals with the US.
At the same time, a shift in global monetary policy started to change the outlook for currencies.
When we move into 2025, in the first half of the year, they were a bit unsure of where their direction is, so they actually held rates for almost 9 months until September this year, and they actually cut, which the market welcomed. And lo and behold, we saw that they cut 75 basis points 3 times, so that helped a lot.
By the final quarter of 2025, the ringgit emerged as one of Asia's strongest performing currencies. And that message of stability was reinforced through Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's overseas investment missions in 2025. From Silicon Valley to Riyadh, from Brussels to Tokyo, Malaysia took its investment pitch directly to the global capital markets. And those trips translated into numbers.
Yeah, when we look at these overseas missions, it's important to understand that they are not just about shaking hands or signing MOUs. Okay, and from an economic point of view, they are really about building the trust. Okay, that is very important. Okay, and global investors today are extremely very cautious.
Taylor's University academic Paul Anthony Maria Das said these approved investments reached around 280 billion ringgit in 2025, up about 13% year-on-year, with foreign direct investment making up more than half of the total.
So when our Prime Minister personally engages with foreign government and companies, it sends a very strong signal that Malaysia is stable, open and serious about long-term investment. Okay, these trips help reassure investors that Malaysia is not changing direction every few years.
Now, 2025 also brought renewed global trade pressure. With Donald Trump reintroducing tariff measures, export-driven economies like Malaysia face fresh uncertainty, particularly in access to the U.S. market. But instead of retaliation, Malaysia chose a calibrated response: negotiation, diversification, and diplomacy. And to explain how Malaysia navigated these headwinds, we spoke to geostrategist Azmi Hassan.
Yes, no doubt that the Trump's tariff is a headwind for our economic growth. But we apply 2 strategies here. 1, we open up negotiation.
While tariffs pose external pressure, the priority was to protect trade flows, investor confidence, and long-term market access.
We are not confronting the United States in this case, but we want to talk to get the best deal out of it. But at the same time, we are trying to open up new market for our products.
But despite global headwinds, Malaysia's core economic fundamentals held firm in 2025.
Okay, Malaysia's economy in 2025, like I said, is an open economy, and exports has actually performed quite well. But we have our own strength in terms of domestically.
The overall 2025, okay, in terms of GDP, of course, we are doing good. Okay, our national income increasing. Okay, inflation rate reducing, unemployment rate also reducing. So, and foreign direct investment increasing. So overall, actually, we are doing very good. Okay, so I would say economically, Malaysia is stronger, getting stronger in 2025, and will be more stronger in 2026.
As the world resets for 2026, Malaysia moves forward with a confidence built not overnight, but through a year of steady recovery, strategic partnerships, and national resilience. Nurin Razmin for Nightline, TV3.
The ringgit, which has emerged as Asia's top-performing currency this year, is expected to maintain its strong momentum. Analysts say the local currency could potentially trade at 3.9 against the greenback by the end of 2026.
RHB Investment Bank said the ringgit is currently on a stable and convincing recovery trajectory. In 2025, the currency strengthened by about 9.78% against the US dollar, supported by a weaker greenback and Malaysia's improving economic fundamentals. A current account surplus of 12.2 billion ringgit in the third quarter also helped ease financing pressures, further reinforcing the ringgit's underlying strength. Bank Negara Malaysia's decision to maintain the overnight policy rate at 2.75% has also helped to boost confidence in ringgit-denominated assets.
Malaysia is now shifting its focus towards high-quality data center investments rather than total capacity alone. Analysts say the shift is driven by stricter approval criteria in Selangor and Johor. According to CIMB Securities, the approach is crucial to ensure that the investments generate greater economic value. The Selangor state government has set a minimum requirement of 30% local content for each data center project. Johor, meanwhile, is focusing on environmental sustainability as well as energy and water efficiency. Businessman remanded over Toll Plaza hit-and-run case. More from the local front after this breather.
Puluhan kes berprofil tinggi dan terpencil telah kami paparkan. Syarat emosi, penuh persoalan, disulam pengajaran. Saksikan himpunan laporan terbaik sepanjang tahun ini dalam edisi khas Fail Mahkamah, Rabu ini jam 9 malam, eksklusif hanya di TV3.
Keping je.
Mesti shopping pun boleh. Siap ada diskaun lagi.
Welcome back. The driver of an SUV who allegedly rammed into another vehicle at the Butterworth Outer Ring Road toll plaza near Prai is being investigated for attempted murder and has been remanded for 5 days. Seberang Perai Tengah District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Helmi Aris said the 31-year-old suspect was arrested together with his wife following a police report lodged by the victim.
Saya tak mau gaduh sekarang. You tepi belakang saja, saya boleh keluar.
The incident is believed to have occurred at about 11:30 p.m. on December 28th, after the victim's vehicle encountered a problem at the RFID lane, preventing the toll barrier from opening. Police said the victim got out of the car and asked the SUV driver to reverse, but a confrontation ensued. The suspect, a businessman, is then alleged to have accelerated his vehicle, hitting the victim and his car before fleeing the scene. The victim sustained minor injuries and received outpatient treatment. The Bukit Mertajam Magistrates Court granted the remand order against the suspect until January 3rd under the Penal Code for attempted murder. The suspect's vehicle has also been seized for further investigation, while urine screening tests on both individuals came back positive for drugs.
In Kelantan, 10 individuals, including 4 family members, have been remanded for a further 3 days to assist in investigations into a brawl at the Melor Public Market last Thursday. The extension was allowed by the Kota Baru Magistrates Court, involving 5 men and 5 women aged between their 20s and 50s until Friday. The remand extension was granted to facilitate investigations under the Penal Code for rioting in a public place. In a separate proceeding, the same court also allowed a 3-day remand extension for 2 sisters aged 28 and 30 in connection with the same case. The incident, which occurred at about 2:30 p.m, left a 19-year-old woman injured. Kota Baru District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Rosdi Daud said the arrests were made following a police report lodged by the victim, who alleged that she had been assaulted by another woman. The Pahang Customs Department has foiled multiple attempts to distribute untaxed cigarettes and alcoholic beverages worth more than 3.7 million ringgit. Its director, Muhammad Asri Seman, said the operation covered 4 cases, 2 in Kedah and 1 each in Negeri Sembilan and Selangor.
The operations were carried out between November 27th and December 1st. Muhammad Asri said the first 2 raids were conducted at an abandoned house and an oil palm plantation in Padang Serai Kulim, while the other 2 raids were carried out in Rompin and Puchong. He explained that the syndicate's modus operandi involved using courier and delivery services to distribute non-duty paid cigarettes in order to evade detection by authorities. Efforts are ongoing to track down the syndicate members. The case is being investigated under the Customs Act 1967.
Winter storm Ezra sparks holiday travel chaos. The details when Nightline returns.
Puluhan kes berprofil tinggi dan terpencil telah kami paparkan. Syarat emosi, penuh persoalan, disulam pengajaran. Saksikan himpunan laporan terbaik sepanjang tahun ini dalam edisi khas Fail Mahkamah, Rabu ini jam 9 malam, eksklusif hanya di TV3.
Macam mana Aira boleh terfikir macam Aira nak serahkan abang pada orang lain?
Aku tak nak kawan dengan kau. Sebab kau tadi...
Hah?
Sebab kau tadi...
Dia cakap apa ni?
Yes.
Aduh, sakit.
Sampai hati kau.
Oh, tak nak kawan dengan abang sebab tak ada tonton ke?
Yelah, kan RM9.90 je. Sekarang barulah boleh kahwin. Kawan-kawan.
tak duyung 17 tahun dulu. Asalela.
Saya dah lama tak tengok legend kita kembali.
This movie brings a lot of memories.
For me, the best part of the movie probably was the auction.
It's like untuk tontonan the full family.
Ada kumpulan zero dalam duyung. Castle.
Jangan lupa tengok Duyung Legenda Aurora. Datang bawa keluarga ramai-ramai.
Wajib tengok dah.
On to the foreign front. The leader of Yemen's Presidential Council cancelled a security pact with the United Arab Emirates and declared a state of emergency on Tuesday after Abu Dhabi-backed separatists seized large areas of territory. Rashad Al-Alimi said the joint defense agreement with the UAE has been terminated and a separate decree imposes a 90-day state of emergency, including an immediate 72-hour air, sea and land blockade.
Al-Alimi ordered the UAE-backed Southern Transitional Council (STC) forces to hand over territory to the Saudi-backed government coalition, calling the separatist advance an unacceptable rebellion. The announcement comes after the Saudi-led coalition said it struck a UAE weapons shipment intended for the STC. The STC, which was initially part of the Saudi-led coalition that intervened in Yemen in 2015 against the Houthi rebels, later pursued self-rule in southern Yemen. Since 2022, the group has controlled southern territories outside Houthi areas under a Saudi-backed power-sharing arrangement, receiving support from the UAE. In recent weeks, however, the STC has swept through swaths of southern Yemen, expelling other government forces and their allies, escalating tensions in the already fragile country. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia warned that its national security was a red line it would defend, following a coalition airstrike on vehicles and cargo in southern Yemen, reportedly supplied by a foreign military to separatist forces. The limited operation at Mukalla port took place just days after the coalition had warned the STC against military moves in Hadramaut province. Yemen's Saudi-backed Presidential Council identified the UAE as the provider of the assistance delivered to the STC that was targeted in the strike. According to coalition spokesman Turki Al-Malki, 2 ships entered Mukalla port on Saturday and Sunday without coalition authorization, disabled their tracking systems and unloaded large quantities of weapons and combat vehicles to support the STC. The coalition, however, said the strike at Mukalla port caused no casualties or collateral damage.
Bangladesh's first female Prime Minister Khalida Zia has died following a prolonged illness. She was 80. In a statement on Tuesday, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP) said Khalida died at 6 a.m. local time at Evercare Hospital in Dhaka. Local media reported that she was admitted on November 23rd after showing symptoms of a lung infection. Following her death, Bangladesh has declared 3 days of state mourning. Despite years of ill health and imprisonment, Khalida had vowed in November to campaign in elections scheduled for February 2026, the first vote since a mass uprising toppled her arch-rival Sheikh Hasina last year. A powerful winter storm Ezra rapidly intensified into a bomb cyclone across large parts of the United States on Monday, triggering widespread travel disruptions as the holiday season nears. The system grounded thousands of flights and brought blizzard conditions, strong winds and power outages from the Midwest to the East Coast. Nearly 6,000 flights were delayed and more than 750 were cancelled by Monday afternoon. The harsh weather also disrupted road travel with poor visibility, icy surfaces and blowing snow contributing to several multi-vehicle pileups and prompting authorities in parts of the region to urge drivers to avoid non-essential travel.
Any conflicts will inevitable
preparing.
In sports, national badminton singles shuttler Li Zijia is set to make his competitive return on January 6th at the 2026 Malaysia Open, following a drop in his world ranking and a long injury layoff.
The 2024 Paris Olympic bronze medalist will open against India's Ayush Shetty, ranked 32nd in the world, in what will be their first meeting. If Zijia advances, fans could see a highly anticipated second-round clash with world number 1 and defending champion Xi Yuqi of China. Meanwhile, Malaysia's men's doubles face a tough draw. Fifth-seeded Man Wei-chong and T. Kai-Woon are set to meet Denmark's former world number 1 Kim Astrup and Anders Rasmussen, while world number 2 Aaron Chia and So Woo-yik will open against the unseeded but unpredictable US world number 32 Chen Ji-yi and Presley Smith. In the mixed doubles draw, world champions Chen Tangjie and To Yi-wei are expected to have a relatively smooth start, as they will open against Jafar Hidayatullah and Felicia Alberta Pasaribu, a pair they have beaten 6 times without defeat. In the women's doubles, Pearly Tan and M. Tina also enjoy a comfortable path in the early rounds. Their route will likely be tested in the quarterfinals, where they could face South Korea's Spike Ha-na and Lee So-hee.
And wraps up this time around. We leave you with visuals from Mount Etna in Italy, where a skier carves through the snow as Europe's largest active volcano erupts in the background. With that, I'm Muhammed, Ahmad Hamdan. Thanks for watching and take care.